Hi, Cheryl and Anne. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Chris. How's everyone this morning? Oh, my goodness. It is freezing this morning. I am so cold. The wind's up a little bit. Chris and Trevor, hi. And Phil, Cheryl, Jane, and Carol. My signal is down to 2 bars, so I hope that's not presenting a problem at the moment. Let's listen to the birds. And traffic noise. We aren't too far from the Great Western Highway here, so we do get to hear traffic. Hi, Carol. Hi, Faith. Hi, Sylvester. That's a plane going over. Yep, that's a plane going over. Up there, somewhere. Somewhere. I can't see it through the screen. I can see it, but I can't see it through the screen. My goodness, it's cold. I've got gloves on and my fingers are still freezing. Anyway, we're at Wentworth Falls Lake. And it's just gone sunrise. All right, it's around about 3 or 4 degrees. So what's that in Fahrenheit? I know the formula. You multiply by 9, so let's say that's 27. Divide by 5, so call it 5. Then add 32. So we're not quite 40 degrees. There we go. Anne and Tien. And that's a train we can hear. We're just going to watch the sun come up over the trees. And I'll stamp my feet a little bit. Should have worn my ski jacket. The polar fleece isn't doing it. How's the signal, guys? I've got it at 1. Are you all still there? Hi, Mary and Judy. Excellent. Thanks, Anne. So that main bird call we can hear is the wattlebird, red wattlebird. And they used to always wake me up in the morning, right at sunrise. Perfect for getting the kids up for school. I'd have a pair of them outside my bedroom window. So, yep, round about this time of day. Not sure what that is. It sounds like a goose. Once we get walking, my fingers will warm up, I'm sure. Oh, I know we're soft, Adrian. Of course we're soft. We're not used to these temperatures. Yeah, tell me about what have you got? 35 degrees? Is that what you've got at the moment? We'll have who does it tougher. Hi, Julia. Yeah, talk to any Canadians I know. Are there any Canadians on yet? I know we're soft. 20's doable, Chris. 20's quite lovely. I'm going to turn the camera around. All right, so here I am, all rugged up. Yes, being soft, I realise that. I admit to it. So we've got just under a minute to go. Signal is holding. It'll get better when we move around the other side. For some reason, this pontoon that I'm standing on is not great for signal. Hi, Suzanne. Did I say hi, Julia? This little boardwalk that you can see behind me, that's fairly new. Just in the last couple of years, it's popped up. Oh, and look, we've just got three bars. I'll move over here. It might even improve. Yeah, you've been doing it tough in the old heat stakes this summer, and we sympathise. We do. We're just up the hill from a suburb of Sydney called Penrith, where it's often recorded as the highest temperature. In fact, once it was recorded as the highest temperature in the world on one particular day. I think it was last season. No, it would have been the season before. Hi, Ronnie Lynn. Hi, Sue. Diane. Hi, Eloise. All right, we're just about to turn over. 6:45 here it is in Australia. And we're at a place called Wentworth Falls Lake, which is just outside the town of Wentworth Falls in the Blue Mountains, just to the west of Sydney. Oh, look, I've been complaining about the signal and now we've got 5 bars. Awesome. So before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that we meet today on the traditional lands of the Darug and Lunungara people and pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And particularly relevant because this was an important Aboriginal meeting place before colonisation. Okay, let's turn the camera around. The sun has just breached the tree line. Sunrise was about 15-20 minutes ago, but of course we're behind a ridge of trees here, so that's why we're only just seeing it come over the line of trees now. There's a bit of a wind up, so you can see the surface of the water is scooting around a bit. And we're hoping to see some birds, or at least hear some this morning. We can see over here the sun just catching the trees on the western shore of Wentworth Falls Lake. What we're looking at across the water there is a hanging swamp. A lot like a peat swamp in, say, Ireland or Northern England. A lot of water collects there. Very few trees grow where there's a hanging swamp, and there's actually more water held in the hanging swamp than there is in the lake itself. This is a man-made lake, and it was built at the time that the trains were coming through the Blue Mountains. So it was actually built as storage water for the steam trains that crossed the mountains. All right, let's start walking around the lake. We'll see more of that sun as we move around. You can see here there's a lifesaver ring, so that if anyone falls into the lake, they can have the lifesaver tossed to them. It's not very big, Jane. We can walk around it in about an hour. We'll probably go about halfway round. So there was a small stream that flowed through here, and it was an important meeting place for the Indigenous peoples of the area before Blaxland, Wentworth and Lawson found a way across the mountains. So once the first explorers came through, within 2 years we had Cox built the road, and what was his name? Evans surveyed the line across the mountains, and from there on colonisation took over with the road through to Bathurst, opening up the west for agriculture. How's the wind going? We're fairly protected down here, but I can hear it up in the top of the trees. Hi Beatrice, hi Sylvester, and good morning Hayward. The last time I came through here, this was actually a pond. There'd been so much rain in June and July that was full of water, but we've had about 3 weeks without any significant rain, so it's allowed it to drop to normal levels around here. So just up ahead is where the park has been created as a recreation space for locals and tourists. Barbecue areas, children's playgrounds, and there's a sandstone sculpture trail. We're going to try and discover as many of them as we can. They were installed in around about 2001, I want to say. We'd only just come up to the mountains. We'd moved up here in 2000. Cockatoos, noisy cockatoos. Hi, Roslyn. We're happy to send it on its way to you, Adrian. So with everyone's collective wishful thinking, we'll send all the rain to the Northern Hemisphere now. Over to you guys. So this is the first of the sandstone sculptures. Obviously, when they were first installed, they were, lovely, beautiful colours, and over the last 20 years they've weathered. And they all represent a form of a plant. So it might be a seed or a seed pod, or even a curled up fern frond. Now this one here, no need for that behaviour. Oh, come on now, Adrian. So this one here is the silky purple flag, carved sandstone, and the artist's name is Robin Austin. Let me show you what a purple flag looks like. If I can find it, wait a second. That one there. So that's the seed from that flower there, which is called a purple flag. Hi Marilyn, hi Joanne. And there's around about 20 of these sculptures around the lake. We probably won't find them all, but we're going to have a good go. And hi, good morning guys. How are you this morning? Oh, not very sociable, I see. Never mind, there's plenty more of you guys. Hi Camilla, hi Betty. So where we were standing just a moment ago, it looks like that might have been what was making all that noise. They look like muscovy ducks over there. That was very rude of them, wasn't it, Alison? I didn't even stay to say hello. Let's get back to normal. Here we go. There's one of those big... Are they muscovy ducks? They're not locals, I can tell you that much. They're ring-ins. The wind's coming up. If I can get some nice duck shots. People have stopped feeding them bread, I think, which is a good thing, because ducks get sick when they're fed bread. We've all been guilty of it. We used to bring the kids down here and feed them bread. But we've since learned better. How's that? Is that a nice shot there? Is that a nice postcard? With the sun coming through on the water? Zoom in a little bit more. There we go. It's quite nice. Right, where's our next sculpture on the sculpture trail? The sun's blinding me at the moment. I can't see a thing. That's better. Good morning, Poppy. At the moment, we're looking at ducks and sandstone sculptures. Here we go. Here's another one. So this one is the swamp grevillea. So again, it's a seed. It's a seed from this particular plant. The artist's name is Vicky Skeen, and I'll show you what the swamp grevillea looks like. Ooh, that one there. So that's the flower of the swamp grevillea. Hi, Chelsea. And the grevillea has numerous different varieties, from big and showy. In fact, right here, I think, might even be it. No, that's a bottle brush. Just starting to come out up the top there. And we probably will see the bottle brush sculpture in a moment. All right, let's keep walking. So this area before it was a lake, when it was still, there's a teal duck over there. That's an introduced one as well. I don't know if they migratory or introduced. Yeah, I've heard lettuce and peas. Is that correct? Might also be acceptable for ducks. That one there. Let's have a look at this little guy with the little white beak. That's a coot. Really a few different kinds of ducks and birds here this morning. So this kind of describes what the hanging swamp does. I'll let you take a photo of that if you wish, a postcard of that. And it will explain better than I did how the swamp works and how it's important to the ecosystem. The common species around here, it does mention the swamp wallaby and the Blue Mountains water skink, neither of which I've seen, but it's nice to know that they're here. Swans love grapes. I'll keep that in mind. I haven't seen any swans around this lake. When I lived down in Homebush, we used to get lots of black swans down there. Look at these little guys. Quickly getting out. Quick to the water. Escape this big human. Run away, run away. So here's another of our sculptures. This one's got the sun just falling on it and giving it a lovely glow. And this is the callistemon, which is the red bottle brush that I literally just showed you, starting to come into flower. Hi, Rosalind. So there with the ducks in the background. Let me show you what a beautiful callistemon in full flower looks like. That one there. So when the flower finishes, those little knobs, those little protrusions that the flower spikes are protruding from, die back, and that's where the seed pod hardens. And this is a lovely representation of what it ultimately looks like when it turns into the seed pod. And the artist here is Michael Burt. Let me know if you need to see the plaques and see the botanical names. I'm really not much into all the Latin names. I know one or two of the thousands. Look at that ray of sunshine coming through there across the park. That's so pretty with the ducks there as well. Oh, warming up slowly. Hi guys, lots of you around here. This must be good feeding ground, is it? So I think that call we just heard, I'm not sure if you heard that, was sort of like a tweet tweet. Oh, that's a magpie. Listen. This gorgeous, gorgeous eucalyptus tree right here. And I just heard a magpie. No, what I meant by the original colours was the beautiful sandstone when it's freshly carved. But in the last 20 years since they've been first installed, they've weathered. So the sandstone was originally that lovely cream and yellow and orange colour. And now that's all worn. So this one here depicts the pouched coral fern. So it's literally the shape of the fern frond. And we're going to keep a lookout for them. In fact, there might be some over there. Let me see. Can we get through there? Yeah, I think I've found some. So these are all, it's very, very muddy. But this is the fern in here. That one there, that's depicted by that sandstone sculpture. We'll hopefully see a better example of that fern as we walk along the track. In fact, these are brand new plaques. So, Alicia, was that you asking? This is what the sandstone colour would have originally looked like when these sculptures were first installed 20 years ago. So that colour there that the new plaques have been placed on, these plaques have only just turned up in the last week or so. Will you expose for me? It's having trouble exposing. Just zoom in a bit. There we go. So that's the original colour of the sandstone. So you can imagine what they would have looked like when they first were installed. But the weathering somehow enhances the look of them, I think. Don't you think? They look like they belong. They're more in place with the surroundings. It's the Hawkesbury sandstone, and it's what a lot of our buildings in Sydney were made from before concrete. So this one here is the woolly tea tree. Do you disagree? He had something to say about that, didn't he? Okay, and the woolly tea tree in flower looks like... Sorry, I didn't mean to zoom in. I meant to get the photo. The woolly tea tree in flower looks like that. And that is the seed, what the seed looks like. It is a lovely idea. I think it was such a beautiful idea to have a sculpture walk. Then to tie it in to something really local. Let me just do a little bit of a quick pan around because the sun is coming up and looking lovely across the lake. There's a little pontoon a little further up that we'll get a nice photo of in a moment. More red. Okay, interesting. Oh, there's a couple right over there. Let's go over and see what these ones are. Across the other side of the park. Nearly missed them. I think these are wattle seeds, but I'm not absolutely 100% sure. Oof. Yeah, tea tree is wonderful stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. Okay, so yes, this is the seed pod of the Acacia alata, or wattle, and it's coming into wattle time. As we walk around the trail, we should see wattle in flower. Trying to get it without the plaque in view. There we go. Okay, what's next? What do we have next? And this is just a little bit of information about. It's been named the Bardu Cultural Path. The Bardu Cultural Path leads from here into the bushland on the southern shore of the lake, and that's where we just came from. Excellent, Adrian. Yeah, as you say, tea tree is wonderful stuff. And of course, Manuka honey is produced from a particular species, from a particular melaleuca anyway, tea tree. It's not melaleuca, what is it? I think it's leptospermum. Could be wrong. Hello, duckies. These ones are a little bit happier to let me walk past. Oh, there's one over there next to the toilet block. Amenities block. Which one do we have here? Okay, so this one is the mountain devil, and I'm hoping that we'll actually see a mountain devil as we walk along the trail. And it's called a mountain devil because the seed pod, did I take a photo of the seed pod? Let me see. Looks like I didn't include a picture of the seed pod for the, that's, never mind. I'm banking on actually seeing the real thing. And this map identifies where all the sculptures are, so I'm hoping that we'll see most of them today. About the project, the Wentworth Falls Lake Sculpture Project began with the idea to create the first of several sculpture parks throughout the Blue Mountains, with permanent and changing artworks on public land. So I don't know whether it got much further than that. I'm not aware of any other sculpture trails, but I'm happy that we have this one at least. And what do we have here? All right, so this is Old Man Banksia. Again, another one that we'll see as we walk out along the trail. So we'll see this one in real life. And the artist for this one, her name is Maya Collishaw. Banksia is another of the Australian plants that there's numerous varieties of. Good morning, Jasmine. Oh, which one, Becky? I'm sorry, which one did I miss? This one just here? It's difficult to get it without my shadow in the way. It's nice to have the sun falling on it, but my shadow's on it. There we go. I hope that was what you're after, Becky. Sorry I missed your comment when you first posted it. Oh, the one before. All right, let's go back. Just over here. Oof, that wind's picking up again. Did I say hi, Jasmine? Hi, Jasmine. This one here you were after, Becky. This is a lovely shape for kids to curl up in. My children, I think I've got a photo. I think I have a photo of one of my kids curled up in this one before the amenities block was built. Okay. You're welcome. There we go. All right, so there's a couple down here near the pontoon. Oh no. Let's go find those. How am I doing for time? Okay, that's good. Excellent. My nose is grateful that the wind seems to have dropped a little bit. All right, so we have, I can see 4 from here, 5. There's quite a few clustered in this spot. Just wanted to catch this postcard with the sun ray through it. Do you see that? Same as what I'm seeing through the viewfinder. It's pretty. Right, what do we have here? This one is the Waratah. Now, I searched my photos. I have a spectacular photo of a Waratah in my photos from about 4 or 5 years ago. And do you think I could find it? It is the state emblem. It's a spectacular and showy flower. It's not out yet, but I am on the lookout to try and find Waratahs when they start to come into flower, which shouldn't be too much longer. Probably in about 3 or 4 weeks, the Waratahs will start coming out. But that presumably is the seed of the Waratah on a very macro level. This is a Banksia, but not the Banksia that's shown in that sculpture. This is a different species of Banksia. And you can see quite clearly, this is the emerging flower. That's an older flower. Oh, stop shaking in the wind. And then the flower becomes that seed pod. And then as it ages, gradually turns into something like this. So that's a Banksia with a very small leaf. And what we're going to be looking for is Old Man Banksia, which has this very large serrated leaf. I think they actually call this one the hairpin Banksia. Thanks, Dev. You can see it quite really clearly on this one here. If it'll stay still for me. Okay. Well, it's telling me I've got 2 bars, so hopefully someone's back with me. Oh, thank you. I'm back. Excellent. That was worrying, wasn't it? I hate it when I lose you. All right, well, I have to show you these last 2 that we walked past while I was trying to get my signal back. This one here. Now, if you can imagine that that is based on a seed that is around about 1 millimetre in size. This is the common rush, which is a grass. Isn't it gorgeous? And look at the detail in it as well. Actually, I'm going to do a. Does anyone mind if I do a portrait shot on this one, because so I can get in nice and close for you. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to go down, and I'm going to get in nice and close so you can actually see the detail in the carving. All right, now we're going to return. 1, 2, 3. And welcome back, everybody. So we missed this guy over here. This is a swamp hen. He was hanging around while I was trying to get you all back. Purple swamp hen. I think in New Zealand, if we have any New Zealanders here, they call this pukeko. There's another one coming over to join it. They're cuties. Look at that. Okay. And this is the front. This is the different angle of that one we saw a moment ago. Yeah, they are. They're really brightly coloured. Why is there an ambulance here? Big moorhen. Well, I think it might be related to a moorhen. Look at this shot here with the little pontoon, little jetty. So many ducks here. I suspect people are feeding them. Why would they be hanging around like this every time a person walks past? Now over on that post over there, it looks to me like a cormorant. Let's see if I can get in a bit closer to it. They're those ones that hang their wings out to dry. You see them with their wings out to the side. All right, what's making that noise? We're going to walk across the, not a cormorant. Okay, then it might be a shag. Is it a shag? There's another one over there. No, that's a duck. So much for my eyesight. Sorry, everyone. False alarm. We're going to cross the dam wall, which is over there, so that we can get to the little bush track in time, just to see if we can find the last few remaining plants that I don't have photos for in real life. Oh, they've done this up. My kids used to love this little playground when they were little, the pirate ship. But they've done it up. Didn't look like anything like that 10 years ago. It's rather cute, isn't it? You can see over here we've got some sort of blossom coming out. I think there might be plum. Not a shag either. Okay, Adrian, they're not. I don't know what it is then. We can be dangerous with a little bit of knowledge and an incomplete one, can't we? Just need to go up these few steps. Along the top of the dam wall. And we're going to go and try and find a mountain devil and old man Banksia in the bush. Maybe even a wattle. So yep, spring is coming. flowers are starting to come out. So that's the extent of the lake there. Who was asking me how big it is? I don't know the area in size, but it's not very big. It's just a little water catchment for the steam trains. Yep. And later this week, Thursday and Friday, my time. So it's Monday morning here now. That helps you figure it out. So Thursday and Friday, I'm doing tours down the northern beaches, focused on flowers and spring. Thanks, Adrian. Look, it looks like a cormorant to me. Maybe it's just a different time, a different kind. I can't imagine what else it would be. Very exposed up on top of the dam wall. This is where the spillway is down here. And before we descend the stairs to the top of the spillway, I'm just going to pause a moment and reflect on a memorial over here dedicated to a young man who was known to my children, who drowned at this point in the dam. So Mikey Ryle went to school with my children, so I'm just pausing to respect his memory. Sadly, he was fishing with his brother and lost his rig in the water, went in after it, but he was obviously heavily clothed, and yeah, it's a lesson. It was pretty shocking. He was a lovely boy. Just want to yeah, thanks Beatrice and Alicia. It's really sad when young people are lost too soon and unnecessary, isn't it? Here's these ferns that I tried to show you earlier. It's a much bigger stand of them. Let me just zoom in on those. And we've got a dip in the signal again, so I won't linger here too long. Let's keep moving. Get that signal back. Hi, Jane Christine, sorry. All right, we're going to move along here fairly quickly because I can see that my signal's dipped and I don't want to lose it again while I look for examples of those two. Here we go. Here's the first one. So this is Old Man Banksia. Now, if you remember the Banksia that I showed you not long ago, and the difference in the leaf, this is significantly larger, and that's the one of those sculptures we saw in the park. It's based on this one, which is known as Old Man Banksia. There's no new flowers on this one as yet, so unfortunately I can't show you those. All we have is the old seed heads, which are those ones up there. Hi, Katie. Yeah, we get bugs. I'll just move out of these people's way. And the other one I'm looking for is that's the G-bung. Does anyone remember I showed you the G-bung? This is the G-bung here. So that was that sculpture a little earlier that was called the G-bung. That opens, that little cone opens into a little round yellow flower. Well, how would I describe it? Kind of looks like half a tennis ball. That's a fairly lay person's way of describing something, isn't it? But where is the Formosa? This one here, dagger plant. We didn't actually see the sculpture for it. This is the dagger hakia. So you can see those teeny tiny little flowers just starting to come out, but those, they're spiky. That's really spiky. This is the mountain devil, but it's not, it doesn't have any of the little, the seed heads look like a little, it's got like two horns and a really distinctive looking face. But no, I'm not seeing, is that one there? There we go. That's it there. So that's the mountain devil. You can see the little horns pointing backwards to the right and the kind of a snout pointing upwards. So that's the one, there's no flowers on that yet either. All right. Hi, Rochelle. I'm just going to move along here a little further. There's Old Man Banksia again. Look how big it gets. That's it way up there. And if anyone's familiar with the writing of May Gibbs, the Snugglepot and Cuddlepie stories, Old Man Banksia was based on, that's the seed pod over there that you can see. And if you use your imagination, you can kind of see eyes and mouths, and yeah, you can really sort of see this big old character if you look at that seed pod. That's what the Snugglepot and Cuddlepie character was based on. Okay, I'm going to come around, just around the corner here, and does anyone have any questions for me? There's the mountain devil again, but it hasn't got any flowers on it. I'll just come around the bend here and look back over the lake. Hi, Una. The writer's name that I just mentioned was May Gibbs, and she wrote a series of books based on gumnut babies by the names of Snugglepot and Cuddlepie. Right, everybody. Well, we had a bit of a hiccup with the signal halfway through, didn't we? Seems I can't do a tour these days without getting some kind of technical glitch, some kind or another. Hi, Barbara. We're just about to finish up, unfortunately, but we're just seeing the tail end of the lake. The sun's shining on the bulrushes across there. Let me come over here to this little beach, and I think this is where I will finish up. Thanks, Jane Christine. That's for anyone who wanted to know about May Gibbs. Okay. All right. How did that go? Hope you all enjoyed the lakeside walk. It was a bit breezier than I would have liked. It's really gorgeous here when there's no wind. Let me just get the lake in the background for you again. Thanks, Dev. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I'll try and pick a day when there's no wind and come back and do this another time. So tomorrow morning we're going to be on the other side of Wentworth Falls a little bit later, about an hour or two later, and back to Lincoln Rock. So if anyone hasn't been to Lincoln Rock before, it's a really spectacular place with gorgeous views. Totally different to this, and only a couple of kilometres away. All right, so once again, thanks for joining me this morning. I've really enjoyed your company. Always love your company on my walks, and hope to see you again very soon. Bye for now.